Okay, good thing I have a starting screen. I am just about ready. Let's see, there's a bunch of stuff I'd like to take care of just a bit, so okay. Glad that I got this. Welcome, welcome. Good to see actually a lot of people, thank you. Pretty good for first minute. Also, I guess it's good also for everyone to come in. Okay. Sorry, I have to still set up the mic here. It's probably sounding really bad, sorry. Can't see, is my mic coming in? Yep, okay, cool. Welcome, welcome. Good to see ya. And it's been a while, Cookie. Thank you. Because I think last week it was a little challenging. You and Star weren't here, so it was hard. I'm just so bad at being any kind of cop, I guess, to be good or bad cop. I've had it very busy. Okay, yeah, it's fine. It's just, I would just hope if at least, you know, the two of you, that at least one of you would, be here. Or at least try to organize it, be like, oh, if you're not here, then maybe someone else will. Have someone cover for you, you know? But I understand, though, yeah. It's been busy on, it's been a lot of stuff, but also like not enough time to do it. So it's been weird. Welcome to Coda. We'll jump right on in. I think I'm ready. Do. Hello. Let's get the other music going. That was really quiet for a second. That actually kind of scared me. All right. Whoop. That's how I do it. Okay, there we go. Welcome, welcome. Hi guys. Cookie Judd, unicorn emoji person, hello. Yeah, good to see ya. I'm doing good, so I hope you guys are doing good as well. Yeah, I'll probably talk into what I've been doing a little bit later too. But I got a new little it's fall, so I got a little the little leaf. So I also got a little bit of drag physics. I don't know if it really comes out, but I had a lot of I made my puppet to have a lot more physics, a lot of near physics. So I'm really happy about how this all turned out. I was able to add like some small drag physics on the gravity and all that on the leaf itself. So that was fun. It's better little spices later too. But yeah. Whew. So I was working on that literally today. Another thing I'll show off today as well. And yeah, mostly just been going back and forth between like half days at work. I'm practically doing part-time now. And coming home and trying to work on this animation. I don't know if I got really far into it, because like if you watch it with this animation here, it's not really complete as much as it being. I should turn the sunny on. Get into here. As much as it's kind of looking more smooth, somewhat. More of the actions are a little bit cleaned up. So I got this shot pretty much complete. That looks pretty good now. I haven't touched the last shot much. But I think today we'll be mostly focusing on those. Shot 3 and 4. So 3, and then later will be, 4. So, but yeah, I think I'll kind of show off what I've done as well here. So I did work to clean up a lot of this. There's now a little like flash that kind of goes, like a camera flash. Because I watched the Tell Your Tale, at least one episode, to like trying to get some inspiration. And there was some sort of like a flash. when Priscilla becomes an alicorn in a cartoon version. So I was like, I'm gonna try and add that. It's not really necessary, but it's like seems more like a little bit more punch to it with the action to be like pew. Get a nice flash of white, which is just a couple different frames. You know, there's just drawings and then a huge square. Also little pixie dust, little dots here. I don't think I can select them. They're also recolored. There's also like a couple different colors. So you get some variety in here and some different shapes. So they're all a little bit more unique. At least just like 3 different styles, so it's not literally the same shard each time. Let's see. What else we got? I think just some other little general improvements here and there with the character animation. Oh, I also figured out the keyframe problem that I was having last time, which I don't think even Cookie would be able to. If I had to explain it to Cookie, I don't think he would be able to actually understand what I'm talking about. It's such a completely weird technical thing that's like yeah. Oh yeah, I added a smear. Pew. So this is one of my favorite frames now. I had to completely destroy the rig to get this going, but she goes pew. The eyes like travel a little bit slower, so you get that Looney Tunes style. Do. It's in the next shot, so I'll talk about it when it's relevant. Let's see. Did you see the G5 Make Your Mark movie, Netflix one? Yeah, I saw chapter 1, and I think chapter 2 is coming next week, like next Monday, so like in a couple days. So I'll definitely I'll watch that. Again, I didn't have great positive vibes watching the Make Your Mark chapter 1, especially of just how much of a downgrade it is, and almost like every department. It's really sad because like the movie was so, you know, on its own, you know, in a vacuum was like really, really good. So then anything else you're gonna do on a tighter budget with like, you know, less render time and maybe some shortcoming in like having a shorter time span, you know, to really tell your story. It's like it's unfortunate how not as polished, I guess, in all areas. So now it's just like watching a fire or something where it's like you can't look away or something. What is it, like a circus fire where it's like you don't want to look at it, but it's like you gotta. Let's see. So I worked on this the most this week between art streams. So obviously now they move, and there's a lot more action going on. So we kind of like break it down. I'll probably be talking. I'm gonna do this in 3D, so I'm probably gonna be talking about this a lot with this shot. So I'm gonna keep this little introduction brief. I'm just going frame by frame now. Yeah, chapter 1 was a little hit and miss whether or not you like it or not. This was really fun though. Sunny's not really complete either, but I'm not really sure exactly what to do with her, honestly. I'm thinking of having her be like the 10th of the size here. Maybe like a little speck or something. We got the camera, the phone to kind of animate a little bit here. And we got her zips, wings open. We got some nice go in here. Add some little like rotating comic kind of like little lines you would see in a comic book to be like, oh, it's rotating. Little visual onomatopoeias. Yeah, she gets zipped away by zip pew 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 pew. And it's really fast, so it's like you don't really feel how jerky it is, but and then I'm honestly not super happy with how long her arm has to be for this shot or this little section here. I also like the phone itself also gets a little bit bigger. I actually scaled it up because otherwise it didn't quite fit with like how large her hand was, so you can see how larger it gets, the phone gets bigger. So I was actually thinking about whether or not I want to remove this whole gag section, because I'm not really happy with it. You guys can let me know about that. Because that'll save off like 10 or so frames there. Almost like a whole second. Welcome, guys. Hello, hello. I'm a little backed up. Hello. Welcome, Buttercup. Welcome, welcome. Good morning. It's a little bit of afternoon for me, so. You like a cookie? Okay. Yeah, we'll go with it then. Let's see. Hello, Void. Welcome, welcome. Yep, G5. Get all the, almost the main cast. Everything but Izzy. I was thinking of maybe like adding like another, like have Izzy on the side or do something or like something like that, but there's so much already. Like I'm not even done with the animation still after working on this for like a couple weeks. So it's like I'm not sure if I want to add another character to the mix at this point. Oh yeah, I was gonna talk about the other thing. Was that the keyframe functions. I don't think I'd be able to find a good example. And just split this framing together. Is that sometimes with the function graph editor, sometimes the, oh, there we go, we got one here. We got a, looks like the color coded this. You have to like manually color code these. So it looks like the path Y, so that'll be up and down in 2D axis. We can see between 31 and 311 and 314, we can see that the interpolation of what the movement is going to happen is that it's actually going to change the value from this point, whatever this is, value 0.38, and then on this frame, let's see if I can select just that, it's 0.38. So in reality, the change itself should be, you know, almost like non-existent. It should be like a flat line because the value doesn't change much. But the way that Toon Boom interpolated it was like, oh, you want it to be like halfway into that mode of that movement. You want it to go into like this, probably like 0.37 or something, and then we'll go back up to that value. Which, you know, you can look at the red one. I don't know how clear this is. You can see like that's more flat, but it's also kind of doing that same sort of like it goes up a little bit and then tries to flatten out. So it's like doing these. When I made these keyframes in like add a classic tween, the computer is interpolating what to do between these two values. There's also the Z, so that also this one actually changes relatively to. This is actually what I wanted to happen. Was the most the value that I wanted to change was the Z value of depth of in and out of zoom in and out. So the actual change from here to here should only be in the Z axis. The X and Y 2D plane should not change, but the way that Toon Boom decided on its own to automatically interpolate the X and Y values was that it was changing and like going into this like lower and then going back up and like changing the E's values. So hopefully Cookie's catching up with me. That's like, you're seeing how this is a problem where in this value of like in this motion between these two pieces, it's like actually changing the Y value a little bit. So like as it changes between these two poses, it's actually slightly skewing it to a different value. Obviously this would be more extreme if I had different numbers here or like elongated it or something, but it's like, why did it do this? There was no, the problem is that there's no reason for it to, you know, do this sort of easing. So I was trying to figure this out last week, and it's like I saw this and I was like, why why even do this? So I was trying to like look it up and like done some forums, and it's like Toon Boom forums and everything, and it's like all of the forums were like, did you put a peg on your camera? Maybe you have to clear this up or like make a new peg or something. They weren't exactly they're helpful, but it's like not exactly what I wanted. Shot in here earlier. Wow, was that Splatoon 2 then? I don't think you can choose, unless that's a secret thing. I haven't beat the full Splatoon 3 hero mode yet. I'm almost there. I'm like on section 3 or no 6 or so. I was thinking of Splatoon 3. 3 got in mind. Yeah, I got almost there. I'm thinking about halfway through the chapter section 5 or 6. So, not sure I can play with just one weapon. Anyway. Yeah, so if Cookie's still here to be able to understand what even all of that nonsense was, to say like why was it trying to interpolate between these two positions like this. Trying to get rid of some of these. So anyway, so what's actually needs to happen, and what the way that they kind of expect you to sort of do it, is that they want you to open this up. Try to go in here, and then I doesn't understand what's wrong, but I don't have a solution. So the solution is, even here you can see like how it's supposed to just go straight. Is that the Toon Boom dumb way of getting this to work is that you have to click on this value, which is the, can't even read it, it says tension versus the continuity and bias. Is that I want to click on change the value of the tension to, I usually just change it to 1, and then that usually flattens it out, so now it's actually flat for whatever reason. So yeah. Because of course when you look at all this, it's like I want it to be, you know, ease to like just be a linear value, but you know, of course that means that you have to click on the tension and change it between like some values. So what if I change it back? If it changes anything, I'd have to click it first. Maybe it's just stuck on that way now. Anyway, so that fixes it. So now we go back here. Yeah, click on. I'll just click on something else for it to. Let's see if that updates. Usually that works, but maybe it's still so flat. Let's change the. Oh yeah, you can also edit it inside of here as well. But I think because it's. I can try to get it as flat as possible. You can see it in this tiny little preview corner. But at least that gets you much closer to that U shape, which I was completely bugged out about. Like, why? How does this happen? Why is this happening? So I went through and like tried to fix as many of these as I could, but I guess I missed that one. I didn't even see that one. But I'm out of also fix it later anyway. See even here, what do we got? Yeah, we can see like it's trying to, on the yellow one, it's trying to sort of do like this curve. See how it kind of goes up and then tries to go down. You can see if I can click this. It's already got the full tension on that side, so usually would also have to go on the other side and then set that to 1 and then see if that works. Or maybe it's just like that's just how it's gonna be. No, it still has something going on here. I might have to go into here. It's like, oh, that seems flat. So then at that point, it's like, wait a minute. What's going on here? It says that that's the Z value. So you can just keep playing with all these buttons and it's like, just hopes that one of these actually works or something. Sometimes it doesn't. That's unpredictability. It's like maybe something else is going on in that one. And it's like, I don't know. So yeah, I said it last time, that's like, this is why I use you know, I don't use classic tweens. I just do on 2s, because then I don't have to deal with all of that mess. Don't have to play with function editors to actually animate things. Especially if things go awry with the automatic easing stuff. I'm sure there's some properties that's like I might be missing, but it's like I shouldn't have to. I feel like it should be the default would just be a linear, you know, point A to B, and then do mathematical linear stuff instead of like, well, let's do like a Bezier curve that's like has an ease in and an ease out and then stuff like that. And it's like, what do you no? So anyway, let's see. So got all that. So I don't have this pose itself ready, and it's still in blocking with these guys. So if we finish, you know, if we finish shot 3 today, maybe I'll go back in here and try to block these parts out here. And it looks like Pip, yeah, Pip's head is a little bit off. Might have to, yeah, we'll have to work on each pose there. But today I'd like to move on. At least go back to here. So what I want to do, my goal is to get the phone to have a nicer shading, because like it has ambient occlusion and like some other visible lights that I can't seem to change inside of Toon Boom, or at least its render engine. So instead of trying to, you know, let's see how to phrase it. Instead of trying to, you know, because I could get Maya and pay a couple $1,000s to get Maya, and then hopefully I can, you know, then export my OBJs into Toon Boom, and then maybe also import a lighting thing to like make some lights to like make that look good. Or my solution is to go back into Blender and separate all of these pieces that I have here, all the characters and objects and stuff, bring them into a 3D environment inside of Blender so I can get the phone to have better lighting. So yeah, my main goal is to make the phone look like it's not out of place. Make it look, yeah, excuse me, make it look less like a 3D object, and make it look like it's just part of the regular environment. Make it look like a cartoon. So fortunately, that means I have to export and render each plate individually. So I don't know how long that's gonna take. Whoop, thank you. I think it's automatic for anyone, not necessarily on the stream, but thank you. Have to render each plate individually. So I have to do like Zip, Pip, Sunny. The background would be in 2 plates as well. And I think I also had to separate Pip's arm as its own thing, because I had a problem where I wanted to animate Pip in the background here. I wanted to like give her some jiggly, wow, make her like Jello. So I have that control, but I wanted to control her back here, but I didn't want the phone and the arm to move. And so the way that it worked before was that her whole arm was parented to her body, because of course it is. Be like here, where like the arm is connected to the rest of her body here. But back here, it would move her arm, you know, like this at the same time. So I was like, cool, that's not what I want. So I had to actually make a completely separate arm, remake it, reposition it, reanimate it, just so it's a completely separate object that has no higher priority. It's not parented back to the rest of the whole puppet. So these are actually independent. But I needed all these different pieces here. Like I needed got the spin pictures there. Got the big arm. So it's actually just a picture now of all the different arm pieces together. And I got the 3D phone. So that's fun. So let's go back in. What be the fastest? I think I want to set this up, because with 3D I want to remove the camera zoom in, the one that I was having the most trouble with of getting the zoom out. I want to remove that motion, so let's remove that, and let's make a different version of the camera. So I'm probably gonna have different pegs for each style here now. So I'm going to render each plate individually. So I want to reframe everything here. This problem is that rendering inside of Toon Boom, when I do the write mode, where it like writes every single frame out. Let's bring this down. It's going to render the actual what's inside of the box boundary. Like it's not going to render all of zip as an object or like as a render. Only thing that renders is inside of the box of what's actually being clipped inside of the box. So I want to reframe just about everything here so that when I export it, it'll be as regular planes. Oop, that doesn't look good. Uh-oh. We're going into responding mode. Oh boy. So what I got in Blender, I got the basic setup. You can see like the difference in lighting as well, where you can see that this one, this one's using more of the ambient inclusion lighting, where you can like tell every single face here has a different amount of light hitting it, so it like changes the value of how bright it is basically. But on the left side is the render engine that I used for the Paper Derpy movie. You can see like it's almost like removes the entire lighting, ambient inclusion, and like lighting almost entirely, and so creates like almost like perfect color quality for each of the every single face is lit evenly, whereas on the right you can see like how, oh yeah, that's definitely not as lit up. It has less light hitting it on that face compared to this one where it's like it looks exactly the same. So that's the problem, is that the Toon Boom has its own lighting system where it wants to light at a certain angle or direction. So I can't really say like I want this side or polygon to have more light than the other to be able to have, you know, something that looks more completely flat like this. So that's why I'm bringing it back into here to try and get this look, which I can also go into render mode and get the same stuff, but this is the default no texture version, and of course wireframe moves all color information. Solid is like the more default Blender version of how it would systemly render things. Material view is that ambient inclusion version, or like what the default like HDR. You can kind of set up like how much light just in general there is. And then rendering is the way that I like to have per world. I have this whole node system. Then I think I might have probably copied it from somewhere, because I don't think I would have been able to figure this stuff out. Basically it's using so maybe that's pretty nothing. It's using a just a one picture that's just basically just like one, it's a square that's all white, so there's no color information for the high dynamic range to even process, because usually you're supposed to have an HDR that has some sort of like lighting angle or something. This is an HDR here, the blur. It's basically just a real life picture is usually what it is, of some sort of environment. And so some sort of math and 3D stuff I don't understand is able to take this real life picture that's a full 360 degree bulb, circle, cube, yeah, just a circle, and then based on where the lighting is inside of the picture, it's somehow able to interpret that as this is where the sun is hitting at this direction, and so you can go behind the light and then you get the shadows. And so all these other nodes are to get the get those whites to like look all flat. And then yeah, that's just the standard of that. So let's see if Harmony is doing okay. It is not. Bad at the ground shit, unfortunately. So, in the meantime, let's see. How would I want to do this? Let's go on to technical difficulties as I try to crash this out. Close program. Alright, let me get some water while that's loading back up. Yeah, we doing? Has anything not made sense so far? I know there was literally some parts where I didn't actually explain it. Welcome back. Of any of that technical bubble. If you're in the industry and like really know about a lot of this stuff, you kind of hear all these buzzwords and stuff. That's like eventually I become numb to it. With all this sort of stuff, that's like, oh yeah, well, of course you use pegs, and then it's like you use a drawing up, you crush the blocks, you'd say all these things that's like, oh yeah, this doesn't actually make sense to people like you. For all you guys. So, let me know if anything's like actually not, if I'm not explaining it in a way that you can at least get the gist of it. You don't have to like understand, you know, fundamentally how it works, but just like, oh, a sandwich is a food and it's made with 2 pieces of bread. And it's like, okay, you don't need to know how the history or like what a panini means, you know. It's like, oh, well, panini means that is, you know, squished and stuff, and it's like grilled cheese is grilled and stuff, and it's like, oh, that sandwich means that it's pieces of bread with stuff in the middle and food, and it's a food and you eat it. So just wanted to know. And more of those kind of like generalness, if I'm making sense. Okay, we're back. I've just been playing around. Okay, here's the 3D phone. What exactly, where am I doing? Let's see. Kitchen expenses summary in layman's terms. Okay. I feel like I do that a little bit. But I could definitely try and do that harder. Yeah. I don't know what layman terms for some of this. I have to like make up my own layman terms for some of this stuff because it's like I had to explain some of this. But yeah, what I wanted to do was get this. That's right. I wanted to get a better keyframe positioning to get the. Well, actually, I could just do this one-on-one, but I just need to get rid of the. I could do this on the individual layers, but I just want the camera to have no keyframes, I think, is what I want. And then, let's go one by one. Let's do a background, probably be easiest first. And don't think I need extra. I don't need an animation, so that should go quick as well. Excuse me. So I'm going to copy this, or I guess I'm going to cut it and put it into the background folder here. And so the right node, here we go again, I have to think about it now. So the right node is able to export the individual frames of the animation. So it's able to take a, it's like a camera, and it takes a screenshot, and then you get a, you develop a picture of, you know, you go of the canvas to say like, here's where all the information inside of the canvas, and you take a picture of it, and so you get the export picture of it. So what I want is to get this composite that has the background layers here. So you can see like there's no window here because the window is actually over on this composite. And so you can see like how the noodles kind of converge here, like they're trying to tree out. So these objects over here are completely not connected to the same information that's over on this composite. If I put this window noodle into here, then you'll be able to see it in the composite. So, but because the noodle is actually threaded into this box, it's actually not connected. So if I write it now, I'll get exactly this output, even though on the stage here I see the window. It's only going to actually write it out because of the noodle connections. So, there you go. What's of Derpy Hooves? What is your 5 in your opinion? Was Sunny and the other buddies will like Derpy, yes or no? As long as Derpy doesn't have like a friendship problem like Posey, you know, where it's like she's being racist. Like if Derpy doesn't pose any threats, then I think I don't think Sunny and the gang will have any issues with Derpy. That is a good question. Yeah, if there was like a Crush Your Girls style portal, what would happen? Because they could definitely do that because they, you know, they've got the portals that they could do something like that. Do. Yeah, I think I've seen Silver Quill in person. He was at some of the conventions. He's fun. I don't think I've watched too many of his episodes to know. Like if you say like, oh, what happens in episode 5? It's like, I have no idea. So I want background far. And so what I want, I would have to change, I will have to open this folder, but oh, check this out. I made a new picture. Boop. It's my sensor picture. So I can freely now open my file explorer. Sensor button. Okay, right path. Export. Background. Just regular background. Choose. Okay. I think that's good. I can take that off. Beep. Okay. So what I want to do is also make change which frame it is. Make it bigger. I want to change the start frame and the end frame to basically be one frame. I guess I could probably just go back. Can I also... Okay, cool. I can literally make it one frame. That's good. I was weirdly concerned about that. So I want to reframe this. So I want to make... I'll have to reroute this. I have to reroute every noodle here. As I want a new peg that'll have its own information of all the different attributes. So I want BK 3D. And then, yeah, I have to reroute all my noodles. So I have to go... I don't want to do this. Each object can only take one noodle. So I could just do that. I could reroute it into here. And just kind of do this. So I have to like... Once I'm done with this export, I'll have to bring it back. And reroute it again, but it'll be fine. So what I want to do is... Now that they're all noodled up, it goes from top down. So this one is able to control each of these bottom objects here. So what I want is actually sort of like that, where it's more framed inside of the canvas as large as possible, or as small as possible, really. So I can get a picture more like this. So it'll make more sense when we get into the actual animation inside of 3D. What I want now is to actually export it. So I want to render right nodes, and I'm not sure where this is gonna go, so we're gonna play with this a couple times. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to do this for every single plate. Selected frames. Looks like I type in 231 to 231. Selected frames. Okay, just okay, it doesn't open the box. Cool. Okay. Beep. Okay. So, whew, welcome, Ben. It's always good to see everyone else. Welcome, welcome. So I want to bring the right node, yep, and re-noodle it into bottom of this cutter. And so now what we get is everything that goes into this right node, which is the mask here for the window, the reflection, the ocean, and the sky. So what I'm thinking is that I want to probably have these actually be in two separate passes as well. Excuse me. So I'm thinking I want to actually unnoodle. Oh, I think I've answered both questions. I'm sorry if you didn't see it. I think to be good friends if Derpy doesn't make any infringement problems, and I don't know much about Silverquill. Here we go. It's been simple. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, so I want to unnoodle these masks here. So now the only thing that's actually going to render is now going to be this thing there. So we can see it in the stage and see what that looks like. I think that'd be okay. I don't think it's going to be like framed like inside of here. So I think we can probably get away with that. What I could do is probably just, at this point, just make keyframes here, and then go back, and then change its positions. So I can resize the sky, and then move the ocean down, move the sky over a little bit. So now it's going to export as this picture. So I want BK ocean. Okay. The only thing is that I have to also every single time rename it so that I get the right file name there. So export, right node, same picture frames here, and then say OK, and it renders that picture. So that goes into my file explorer and becomes a PNG picture because I set it to be PNG. So you can also set it up to be a whole bunch of other file types. You can even export it directly as a movie, but for my purposes, I don't need a movie. Because the way that I want to have the Blender pictures be pictures. So, unnoodle those, and then I get the mask for the window reflection. So it's going to be a little tricky to line these up, but I think it'll be... as long as these are kind of close. I'm basically, for these ones, making UV. I guess they'll all be kind of UV pictures. So I have to go back and say BK window reflect export right node 1 frame. And there we go. Now I can re-noodle these and get that going. So the purpose of this whole thing again is just so I can get the lighting rendered to look a little good, a little better than how it's natively here. But okay, so we can do the same thing again, which just be a little bit simpler because I can just do this for zip 3D. So that has a noodle, a new noodle that says new information on it. So I want to see and preview what I have with this animation to see where does things happen. I have to also realize where she is and how she flies. So I think I put the flying information in the other peg. So that'll be good. Like with her actual moving, her movement is actually set up on the peg that I just unnoodled. So she should be moving across the screen right now, but she ain't, so that's good. So as long as she's within the frame, we should be good. So otherwise she's gonna get cut off. So I'll just have to go frame by frame and just kind of like make sure that she's always inside the frame and doesn't move. So I can see like this frame down here. Your wing actually goes underneath, so it should be just a little bit smaller. Oops, unselected it. And then she would stop there. So we're gonna set the last frame. We could keep it to be consistent even though she won't be moving much until the next shot here. So we're gonna set the stop frame to be way down there. So we'll get her full animation here. Probably should get rid of this flash. I think that's part of, actually it's part of here. So that's this object. Side of the alicorn. Let's go back here. Zip. And if this doesn't work, then it's actually relatively simple to re-render it and then get back to it. So I can find my right node by trying to find it. I've set this all up so I know exactly where everything is. I suppose if it's like in a studio environment, you want to be consistent with everyone else in the studio. So we can see like with different colors to see how that's going. And then make sure that she's in frame. I think this preview is a little bit small, so it might not be accurate, but it'll work. I also want to change the folder. So, hang on. Choose the upper folder. Export. This is zip. Choose that folder. Change to be zip. So I changed the folder that it goes into. Same stuff there. But now if I export to right nodes, I want to change this to be my end frame, which is now 348. And then this is where it's going to take a while, so how are we doing? I remember in Mid-Emers just doing this process like almost either like 5 to 10 times per shot, because I wanted to have each character be their own plate. Basically just like how you can see like each canvas size here is a picture, and then you just have an animation of all the different pictures of the character, and that'll be a plate. It's just a separation between different pictures like these. So that's good. Now we can move on to, there we go. Do Pip. Pip's gonna be complicated because she has her arm. So I probably just want to bring this into her folder, but I wonder if that would actually affect her. Well, we'll see. So what I want is to almost separate this because this won't actually be affected. We'll see. Let's take this whole box out. Go up a level. Paste this contraption. And if I reroute it back here, we can get a little bit different information, which is actually interesting. I would think because I moved it over, it would not change its location. Unless it's because it's the camera. We can go back into swap to the other noodle to see. Okay, yeah, so that lines up. Yeah, so, okay. That's good to know. So it's actually the camera that's changing that. I guess it also would be simpler, would just be to unnoodle it from here, and that'll also fix that problem. So let's actually put it back. So I'll try to figure out what's the most optimal way of doing this as well. So I could just put that noodle back there. So what I want is to basically just do that, actually. That's actually what I want. So what I have is remove this arm and the phone to not render on my right thingy. Where did that go? Where did my right note go? Did it explode? Where did it go? Did I delete it? Who knows? Find out where it was before. It would have been here, right? In any case, I can get it back. I can make a new one. Oh man. Did you guys see where it went? I'll make a new one. Okay. Yeah, because I couldn't find it. It should have been like either here. That's when I deleted some stuff, it would have exploded. So I have to do this again. All these are reset, so you can see how this looks. Yeah, so with minimeters, I do have to set all this stuff up. I have to change this. Change the folder. Export pip. Big folder. Yes. Okay. Oh, the other feature is there. Cool. Okay. So you can see that's looking. And so you can see like how her tail is being cut off, because it is literally being cut off by the canvas size. So it's like, look at your viewfinder, like binoculars. Like this is the only view that you can see, and so you can't actually see the rest of her tail because it's actually being cut off. So because I want to be able to have more of her on my, I could have more options of placing her around. That's mostly what I want, is so I can have as much flexibility to, like, if I want her to be in the 3D view inside of Blender, if I wanted to be a little bit more to the right, I'd be able to do that because I would have the full tail and full object cover would be visible. But if I had her being cut off on the edge here, if I wanted to move her over inside 3D space in Blender as a flat object, I wouldn't be able to actually move her over without it literally being cut off there. So I have to take these extra measures here to move her over. With Midnightmares, I was able to, I think I had to move them a little bit over, but I think it was just more of a very, very specific case of like just kind of going what each scene needed. So it wasn't like as much of a problem, because I was exporting them into After Effects, and so that was very linear. Of looks like I do have the flying animation inside of her, so I probably want to remove these informations of her movement here. But in Midnightmares, I'll be able to have her being cut off if I needed to, and then just go from there, and then just shader inside of After Effects. So I want to take these informations that I got here, and almost just remove them. And I can always just kind of redo these motions anyway, because I'm going to line them up with Zip's arm. So I think I'm just going to remove these. If I can. It's having a little trouble. Maybe I have to get rid of Zip here, or maybe we can have a little. So here. There we go. There we go. It just took a while to. These puppets are so heavy of just like how much information is going on with it to like actually process and compute it. That's like it's a lot. So now we get this. It looks like her arm here is actually that one. So I probably could just like reuse one of my other arms. Maybe, but we'll see. So I probably want to also separate this arm Make it in part of this arm instead. Let's see. Looks like I think I might have animated. I've animated that arm. So what I want to do is select these bips and turn them off. Decrease their exposure so that they basically just become invisible, because I think I had to do it this way to separate the arm. Okay. Now unnoodle it so I don't have to see that anymore. Okay. So now I got Pip, and she should stay still in there. Let's remove. I might have had the camera movement, or maybe I didn't. With did I have the camera move in the zips? Otherwise, I'll have to redo that again. Okay, so she's not being properly framed inside of the canvas. We have to make it a little bit smaller. Do another check. Actually, that's the frame that I don't exactly. I need about to here. Let's hope that I can fit her within reason here. It's like her shoulder's a little bit high. So I can just do a little bit of cleanup here while I'm here. So I'm dragging the little curve points here. They call it deformers, so I can deform the mesh of the drawing object. So that'll be a little bit easy to mold that around. Okay. Whew. Okay. So I think we got Pip with just her and her animation, and get her to be relatively good there. Okay, cool. Happy with that. Okay. Stop. Export. Render. These frames. Go. Okay. And I think there's one more we need to do, because we need to do Pip's close arm, which will then be used in actually 2 different pieces. So I may need to make that into 2 pieces as well. It's always good to be separate as possible, because then I would have like 100 frames that aren't being used, and yeah, that'll be easier to separate this out. But yeah, this will be the hopefully the last long export, as it has to do like 100 frames here. Almost. There we go. Okay, so now I want to do the reverse of what I have here. So now I want just these parts now. So I want right node to now be these bips. So I want to get rid of the phone, because that's the whole point, is that we're going to get the phone to be the new version, the new one in Blender. And we can see like there's some different frames of information inside of here. So I want to reframe the hoof here. Let's just make a new peg inside of here. So now I can move this peg and then reframe it to how I want. So it kind of like has this cool transition from like changing from one arm and then swaps into the other arm. But I try to make it as seamless as possible when, you know, it's all connected nicely. So that's pretty good and framed. Okay. So I have to change the folder again, so hang on. It's a lot of work and prep work to get this to be ready to animate. And then if you mess with the timing, like if you change how long the animation is, guess what you gotta do? Do it all over again. Start, just renaming the file names. Okay, so I wanted to stop actually on this frame. So now it's just 230, so it's only 20 frames. So I could have it render all of these frames, but they're all be blank. There's literally no information inside of here. So I removed all that. So be no sense to render those ones. So we're just gonna do the smaller segment of actually where the information of her arm is there. And then we'll do the other section over here. So that'll be, what do we got? We got the spin animation and we got the other arm down here. So I don't have a folder for that yet, but I can definitely do this arm first. Because we're on the same thing there. Okay. So now we're going to reframe this arm. Alright, we changed the start and end frame there, so I have to make this the start and this the end. And see whereabouts this goes. Actually, that's pretty good in frames. Okay, cool. Change the name. Change it to be end. Okay, I knew this was going to be a process, but I didn't know how much exhausting it can get. Export. Render. 3382348. Render. But again, these are pretty fast. Like, it's already done. So now want the spin frames. Last one. Stop. Peg. Just gonna move this. Don't worry about pip. What I'll do is reframe this. So we get these kind of frames. Cool. Okay. I could put it in the same place. So this is spin. Could call a phone spin or something, but that'll be fine. So I want it to actually now be 326 to 339. Export. And then we see if that worked. Okay. So save. And then we go into Blender. And now we can start to assemble it inside of here now. That wasn't tricky enough. Now we're gonna deal with the entire third dimension. To set this up now. So yeah, sorry, default cube. Gotta go. And we could probably just keep using this picture here. So I want to turn off animation for now. So I want to set this up first. How many frames is it? What's 339 minus 226? Is that right? 231. 231 to 339. Okay. So I want to change some of the sides here. Change the camera to be as flat as possible. So let's change the values to be very, very simple. Let's see what that does. Where does that? Oh, it's inside of that now, so we can move this back. Here we go. Okay, sorry. Hi, real fan. Good to see you. How am I doing? So late. It's okay. You missed the exciting export each individual plate process. So don't you worry. That was very exhilarating. It was not at all tedious in how many times I had to export the same amount of animation over and over and over and over. So you're good. But yeah, other than that, I'm doing pretty good. Let's see. Switch this back to world. Label this. Let's make this the background. And then now we got these. So I want to add a image texture connected to the color. It's the same thing. We've got nodes. So it's all connected. They're all animation, you know, all this animation stuff. It's all related, you know. You got your nodes, you got your noodles, you got your graph editors. It's all connected. What I want to do is open this, but yeah. Oh wow, yeah, this one has a lot of stuff in it. Okay. What I want to do is find that folder that I put everything into. Toon Boom folder. Pony short, that's what we called it. Here's my export. Let's add a bookmark so I can find this later. Background, and I would like that one. I think just for now I'll just open as many as I can. Yeah, I'll just go through and import all of the background pictures into here first, and then go from there. Okay. So I just did. I imported 3 background pictures. So now I can click on here and go. Which one do I want? I want far. Good. What's really annoying with Blender is that it still doesn't get the PNG. You see how it's black here? It should be transparent there, where you should be able to see through it. We have to go into this section here and say alpha blend, and then it becomes invisible at that part. So we can also see that it's tilted. So either I can rotate it literally in 3D space, or we can go into UV editing, change the picture. Let's see where that is, and then I can play with it in almost like a 2D grid mode, where I can rotate. I'm rotating the information inside of the frame. Oh, I got really scared there. Yeah, basically I'm doing it in a 2D plane of setting up what the picture looks like. So I'm also noticing that I want to change the, actually swap the x-axis. I want to change the scale of how this looks to make it about the same height. And then, there we go. So now we got essentially the same information that I had before of the background here, but now it's a 2D plane. And so now I can just kind of keep going through that process of now duplicating it, moving a bit into 3D space, and then changing the material into a new one and giving it, it's easier in this mode, giving this one the same image texture, alpha, turn off all of these, switch blend mode, and then add the ocean. So now I got that. I'm also noticing that I don't have a hole here, so I'll have to figure that out, but at least I can get the rest of the characters set up, so that'll be interesting at this point, so I can set that up later. We'll have to punch a hole into this window so you can actually see the ocean like that. Anyway, so what I also need is the duplicate. I wondered why my move buttons aren't here. There we go. I think I'm on, yeah, I'm on a different mode here. So I can place this directly in front like that. Top view. Swap. Actually, I need a new material. Swap the picture here. Alpha. Blend mode. Transparent, reflect. Let me get that. I still have this render issue where at certain angles, you literally see it goes away, like it disappears. With the movie, I'm still having this issue. I'm not sure what's really... It's not Z fighting, because I've had it where, you know, I can have... because you can put it over here, and it might disappear. Or maybe it is Z fighting. Z fighting is if two objects are close enough to each other in like Z space or this direction, then the computer isn't able to render. It has trouble prioritizing which element to actually display, what to show. So if they're too close to each other, then it's possible that the computer is not able to prioritize which one to... Maybe it is just Z fighting. That's unfortunate. I spent so long trying to figure it out. I was like, it's got to be some shading that, like, oh man, you have to, like, you know, set up these different combinations, and like some of this other stuff has to be part of it too. It's like, oh man, what if it's this? And it's like, now I'm realizing that, oh, maybe it is just Z fighting. Nope, it's going away here. Unless, wow, okay, yeah, I feel dummy. All right. So yeah, Z fighting when two objects are close enough to each other, the computer isn't able to figure out which one to show at a time. So it's like, oh, I'll prioritize, I don't know, the background at this angle, and then if you put it here, then it's like, oh, I guess I'll do the transparency, you know, one here at this given point here. Anyway, let's add another road origin, new mesh, new plane, just so I can get a fresh plane here. Looks like move buttons are gone here too. There we go. Let's do, apparently we're doing zip down here. So, new material again. It could also be renaming these, but at this point, we just gotta go. Because I haven't animated anything yet in an hour. It said finale, but I think it'd just be the finale of showing this off more so than actually completing this. So there you go with that. That's like, yeah, I'm probably gonna maybe just finish setting up this shot in the animation. Maybe we'll get the animation. That'd be nice. But otherwise, yeah, we're not gonna actually finish the animation. Shit's still rotated on the other side. So we'll swap to zip. Sometimes it does not render the picture inside of here, but it still exists, so I can still like move this around, even if it's not actually displayed here for whatever reason. But yeah, you can also like tile things. It also gets automatically tiled. So if you have like a repeatable texture of how the picture looks, like the detail inside of a material of an object, you can have it just infinitely have a whole army of zips now. Or you could just kind of flip this around, flip. There we go. Okay. We can see that she's kind of squished in. So I probably want to, inside of here, maybe stretch her out to a certain point. It's kind of whatever I see fitting. So at this point, either I can literally make her larger, which I don't think with this scale it's going to be too beneficial. So instead, probably bring her closer to the camera, and then also probably just scale her up a little bit. I want to turn my passport 2 on. That allows me to not see the background, basically just that. So I can still see a little bit, but not being distracted by the outside bounds. Because again, it's like I want to make sure that everything, the only thing that matters is what's inside of the frame. So if I prioritize that up front, then everything else will kind of click into place. So I could be seeing how the layout looks in Toon Boom and then mashing up perfectly. Be like, oh, her tail's not there yet or something. Maybe something else. And then she animates. So the fun thing is that it's actually going through the individual pictures that we picked out. There's like a whole folder of the 100 frames, which probably should change this to be 100. So that'll be animating there. I'm gonna make this a little bit less taxing on my computer. That'll go the fastest. There we go. So I have to remove the extra lighting, but you can see the animation. There we go. Now it loads better. So she's actually, she's not really... The only thing that's happening is that it's swapping between each individual picture in the sequence. So it just looks like it's animating, but it's only really changing, yeah, what the pictures are. Because it's in a 2D plane there. So you have some... It's pretty fun. So this is how I animate the Paper Derpy movie. Where I basically just do it like this. Of having these planes. But the background itself is actually a full 3D model. So it's like a 360 usually background. Or 180 or whatever. And then the characters themselves are just flat. So makes makes having the best of both worlds, so I could have 2D animation, bring it into a 3D environment, and then be able to do crazy background flips around and camera movements and stuff, while still having the charm of having good 2D character animation. So that's good. Pippin. Image. I think I've shown off the 3D backgrounds in the movie, right? I think I remember showing off the city and the... I think I had to load in Pip's stuff. I think I even showed like off the Snake Castle or something. So that was that's definitely more complicated of all my backgrounds. But I'm pretty happy with the backgrounds that I'm working on now. They're looking pretty good, if I say so myself. Or at least I'm just adding more subdivisions so that there's more polygons per object. Line them up. Also, I need the phone. I need to import that in. So I would like append and then go into one of my library ones and add that in. So let's see. Where would it be? Oh, I think it would be inside of models. No, that's Toon Boom models. Honestly, not sure where I put them. I didn't put it somewhere dumb, did I? Assets. We go into recents, hopefully. Hopefully my recents will be in here. I've opened all of those. Oh no. I don't remember where I put my Pip phone. Let's see. Oh no. Oops, I opened a new Blender file. I found it though. But now it's trying to actually reload the entire new Blender ecosystem. Which is the new file. Is this even it? That's not even it. Okay. Let's put it somewhere else. Where would I have put it? Where if I were me, where would I have put it? I'm just doing a general search now. My whole thing here. It's a good thing now is that I have this sensor square box, but I'm still here, so we can still chat. So it's not like I'm on the other like technical difficulty, the penalty box kind of thing. So yeah, we're doing. It's like I'm still here, because like the other like technical. I don't want to switch it because it might take the picture off. Because with the animated picture, it was just like, just an animated picture. It wasn't me doing all this, It's not finding that shit anything. I swear that I put it somewhere. That's how I got the file of it, right? Oh, I got some template phone number allocator. I found a code? What? For my Unity? What? Oh, all I can find is phone test. Well, at this point I could probably just swap it there and then I would still have to. There's no pegs in Blender, so I can't. Can I even copy the animation from one to another? Can you copy one to another? Oh, I see some V3s. That's looking promising. Modified this one a minute later. Oh, that's that one. Sorry guys. It's weird because I planned all of this out and now it's like I forgot where I put it. If I don't see it in the next second or so, I'll move on. I probably just use my phone test one instead. At this point, Blender. I wouldn't have. So I feel like I would have been smart and put it with the rest of the files, but maybe I just put it with the. No, I would have put it with the. I would have put it with the Toon Boom puppet, or the whole Toon Boom stuff here. Yeah, I'll just use this instead. Okay, let's go append. Now I have to find it again. Oh boy. Hopefully you're being patient. Thank you. Toon Boom. I want to find my pony stream. Is that where it was? I don't even remember. It was in top Toon Boom. Okay. So where is that? I don't see. I see it here. Let's add in object phone. Oh, there we go. Okay. Sorry about that. Jeez, yeah, that's embarrassing. Boop. Okay. Well, I got phone. It's possible I might be able to add in the material from what? I couldn't find it, so how am I gonna get that picture? Or I might be able to open Flash and be able to get the original picture again. Let's see. It's a little tricky because we don't really have much information of which way is which. The only symmetry-wise is that it kind of goes down that way. So that means that it's this way. We're just going to see if the scale works before animating it. So the fun thing is that I wanted it to be kind of like resting inside of her hoof. Yeah, so I might want to make the... What's going on? Let's change that. I think I want to make this bip. It's part of the same. That's it. Let's remodel this real quick. Or just like rescale. Almost want to just like separate it and then parent it at this point because I want to get these separate. Yeah, this is my test, so I definitely didn't do this correctly. Let's do local. So I'm resizing the hole here. So now I can make it a little bit smaller. Is that good scale? Seems like a huge phone tablet though. Local Z. Try to fit, you know. Is that too small? Because looking at here, it's like it seems still not large enough, so just make it a little bit bigger. How's that? See if I can grab just a, maybe just the bottom, because I feel like that'll probably help. So I can grab these parts, these polygons, and then if I'm still on local, I'll be able to just move this up, unless there's another piece of this puzzle I don't know about. Oh, it's the inside here. There we go. Okay, so now I can make this a little bit shorter. With a wider base there. I'm sure the actual final one that I have is going to be different proportions, but hopefully this will get us a little bit closer to what I want anyway. Let's get rid of the grid floor. So it's dark in here, so I can kind of move it around without having to load the lights. See, it's kind of a bit slower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's, and as you remove complexity, it gets faster to render. So, oh yeah. So it's just real cool to move this across now. And now there's some depth. Anyway. Okay. We're about an hour and a half in. Alright, let's see. Let's animate this. Let's change it back to global. Okay. So what I want is go back to first frame and select all of these that have keyframes, go into animate on mode and see where this goes. I don't have the pip arm set up either, so let's set up that as well just real quick because I have to animate that now. I have to turn off animate on mode. Turn itself on. Okay. We're getting there. It's all good. Get the roughly the right size. And then we'll add in the last section that I want to do here. So I want to add the arm. This is how I had to do the when the snakes were in the boat, when the male one was pretty much like canoeing. I had to separate the the snake's arms as their own separate piece, and then put in 3D oars, and then try to animate that, and try to synchronize between my 2D animation and my 3D pieces so that they all kind of blend together. So yeah. I think that's right. Problem is that I can't see. If I could see the picture inside of the left side, that would have been much more helpful, but oh well. Actually, should it be... Which way is it? We're gonna go back to Toon. It's awesome. Arm big. Let's see. So I always like to review back and see like what is this actually supposed to look like, and then work backwards now. So I'd say it's actually going back down that way. It's usually when I work with this kind of multimedia, at least multi styles here, I would have both open at the same time. I would have them be on different... I don't even know where anything is anymore. Is that right? I think that's right. I would have them on different monitors and work from there. So I can like have them on different monitors so I can see each one at the same time. And kind of like glance from one screen to the other. So this is tricky because I have to, because my monitor's set up now, is that everything's being used, so I can't actually see all that I need at the same time. So I can grab this keyframe, move that over, and then new keyframe here, and then move this over. And then hopefully that means it'll go back to there. Okay. So, okay. Let's try and quickly now move this over. So it's not that it's actually a large hand, it's that it's just really close to the camera. It's possible I might want these to be even closer. So that the scale is actually correct. Yeah, practically like at the camera. So I'm looking between the... Actually, it should be flipped this way. So I'm looking between this screen and this screen, so I can like line it up, see what I need to do in this one, kind of rotate it to get a different perspective, and then look at this one to see what the actual output is going to look like when it's rendered here. So that could be like something like that. So for some reason it kind of glitches out when it wants to undo your frame, so I'm just gonna double make sure that that's stays still, please. Ooh, stay still. Then I have to lower the complexity here. Okay. Frame 0 is like everything being reverted to like their last frames, so it's not quite good there. Let's see. So I would have Harmony open on a different screen here. So I want to see. Oh, this is hard because now I have to minus everything from 230 to see where everything is. Okay. So at least I know that once we get to back to here, once it starts to get big again, that means that it should be off screen. Because it's actually going to change position. It's going to swap to her position, her other arm. It's actually going to take over. So peeping it down below the camera means that it's not going to render. Probably going to just... Now I'm going to zoom out, so might as well just put it completely out of the frame. Make sure that's not going to be visible. Yeah. So you can see like how this transitions on this side into this arm here. So I want to see and make sure that this arm position looks about the same as if it was the same arm. So I just want to put it into a position that looks like it's about there. So it's kind of getting smaller as it goes. It's really lagging on my end, so don't you worry about how it looks on yours. Let me recalibrate my face too. Beep. Alright. So you can see like the shoulder. It's actually way over there. So I want to move this over just a bit as well. Okay. So I want to get the arm going. Okay, cool. And if you get really tricky, you can get into all these functions and grids and stuff to see like what's happening. Obviously, I like to have as much information displayed to me as once, so I can like kind of go like, what's happening here? What's the value here? What's this going on? What's this value? What's this value at the same time? Because I like having things splayed out and like having to see literally as much information drawn at me at the same time. So I can just kind of quickly go like, what's this? Is that a keyframe there? That's a keyframe. That's stat change over there. Okay, cool. What's the value of it? So yeah, I have to keep track of a lot of stuff at the same time. Welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name. Even if I could have probably would pronounce it incorrectly, so you wouldn't want that. Okay, so now I got the phone. We got this position. I removed the color so I can try and line this up. So maybe I can just move that. But so what I see is that this phone is here already, so I want to bring these keyframe positions back here. Which is actually this keyframe sort of there, but maybe I can like copy and paste it in a way here. Don't need scale. Let's get rid of that. Don't need Y scale, Z scale, X scale. All constants. Because everything's on 2, so every time here, everything kind of holds still every other frame. So it is change, hold still, change, hold still, change, hold still. So what I can do is now start to figure out some of these motions. See where the hand moves. So it moves here. And so try to match up with the intensity of the motion so it feels like they're part of the same object. So I'm moving it slightly and also kind of rotating it to add a bit more of a more natural motion to it. If you just do like one axis, like if I literally just did the x-axis or like y-axis there, it wouldn't feel, it would feel like it's very stiff and literally just moving up and down or left and right. So I like to change multiple values per keyframe. I feel like that adds a lot of movement into it. So for here, we're now transitioning into the arm movement transition. So I want to probably make this arm actually on this particular frame a little bit larger. Let's make the phone a little smaller. Reposition it. And we're gonna get a little bit rotating. So just following the motion and like trying to figure out, following along to see like what's really going on here. Let's see. So it's, what's the motion? So it's actually, so it's going from where you can see the back of it, and it's got to rotate to a little bit the other way. So it's going this way. So you see more of the back, more so than the front here, at least I think. So I've got to rotate a little bit more that way. And then it should be more this way now. Whoop. I'm just gonna be a little upset once I get this to be. I know that I'm gonna get this like way better, like animated wise. Because another when I actually animate the final model, it's not gonna look as good as this. Oh, I just realized that I could parent the new phone to this this phone. Old phone can have all the keyframes in it, have new phone, and then parent it so that the old phone can be the motion of it, and then I can literally just hide it when it renders. You can like turn off the camera button and it will stop, it won't render it, so it'll be invisible. And I think that'll be my secret way of animating it that way. I think that's the way to go, actually. This one, because I don't have not too many other options, really. I think it kind of rotates opposite way. So I want to think about which way it's rotating. So see, here it rotates way too far. It should be more flat, really. Let's see if we can run it a couple times and see what that looks like now. I think we got some interpolation problems, but I think it's getting most of the point of it. So that's good. Let's go zoom out and see. They're all just they're all flat except except for the phone. Yeah, well that too. So I think you'll be able to actually see, yeah, at least somebody's. I can bring this up, expand this a little bit. See how it's this line is a bit smooth. It's not like a burp burp. It's like a whoa kind of motion. So I want to select everything and then set it to constant. So now when it changes, it just immediately stair steps into this next value immediately without having to try to transition into each one. So I think my frame rules are off, which means that instead of, so it's on evens, so it should change here if there's a change, I would think. That seems right though, so I'm not sure. Yeah. Huh. Let's see. I can put the end of it at 35, so I can just have this amount of different this amount of information to load at one time. It's probably having like, especially Toon Boom streaming, a couple other stuff on me. And yeah, it says having a little bit of trouble trying to load it. So you can see that the frame rate is about 5. Ooh, we almost had to. Oh, we got 10. It's possible that if we leave this going for a while, it might speed up. But I think I want to hide everything but the. Actually, I think I got rid of all characters. So now it's just them. I can hide the zip. See if that's trying to load. It's still very slow, obviously. So it's hard to really tell if this motion is working or not. This is actually something that Pixar actually figured out on Toy Story 1, is that they would have super low res models that were basically just like the bare bones of like an action figure kind of style, where they were like not just like representative enough of the proportions of the characters, of like these super low poly and the kind of almost disturbing version of the characters, and they would animate that because they knew that trying to like get high frame rates with the finished render versions of the characters and try to render that out, there was no way to like do a playback in the 90s to be able to get like those super high quality ones. So they would do the same technique of having super low res versions of what they needed of the characters, and then those would be like the skeletons and bones, and then use those skeleton information and bring that into the final mesh of the real characters, so that they can be those would be the ones that then kind of carry the real information, or the information that the original ones had. So I want to see about my rotation. I want to see my, let's see what rotation it is. I want to make sure that these do the right thing here. So I think having it go that way, that. It's possible I want this one to actually go backwards. Let's see. Let's see. And now, like with obviously the newer animations, they're able to have much higher amount of computing power that they can, that they even touted like on Monsters University. They were like, check this out, we can do live rendering of the full versions of the characters like in camera and have like Sully's hair be rendered in real time. So you're like, yeah, check this out. They seem very proud of it, and it's like, it's impressive. That's just like how quickly they were able to get very high quality, you know, the full like final rendered character models. Working in real time and animating them. Able to pose like these super dense character models all in real time. Meanwhile, my Blender is not able to handle like 3 planes in a one model. And I'm like having to set it up to be like this mode, to be like, I wonder what's going on. It's like, nah. It's like at the very end it switches to a different rotation. So I'm just looking to see where that's gonna happen. Hey Pip, Blender crashed. Blender crashed. Huh. And Harmony crashed today too. So we're 2 for 2. So no one's no one's doing any better. Actually, censor that open. We're almost on time, and I think I won't be able to do much more. Really. So maybe I'll just kind of just clean this up for now, and then see where we go. Yeah, it's just this last frame here. Let me get a top view. I don't know what's up anymore. Oh no. Okay, we're upside down. Okay. Let me just get a top view like this. I also sometimes like it to be red cap random. Or sometimes it's supposed to choose colors that aren't similar to each other. Looks like Zip's colors are kind of the same though. Hide everything but it. Okay. I just want to see at what point, what's actually going on, kind of a thing here. I'm just gonna get this one model and then see what happens. Oh yeah, I probably should resize this real quick so I can actually see the full display here. Also got Toon Boom behind me. Welcome Felicity. Everything's just fine. We're having some technical difficulties I'm trying to iron out, but I think that's just by removing as much information as possible, I should be able to figure out what's going on here. And we've just removed that frame, and then it's kind of make it a smaller motion so that it becomes just that much better. There we go. Perfect. Okay. That's all I wanted. We are inside of Blender 3D. But for right now, just trying to get the phone animation composite look okay. But yeah, on the left side it's going to be what it's going to render out as. And then the right is my working view. So I can be like, oh look, here's my angle. Try and get in there. Unfortunately, I think just having too much open, which, speaking of which, I probably should just close Harmony at this point, because Harmony has its own render engine, 3D render engine. So let's close that real quick and see. Sometimes it sputters. There we go. And save this, and then see how much more frames we get. Well, we were like at 11 before. Now we're at, oh, there we go. Ooh, it did work. Now we're at 14. Ooh, we're getting there. We gained 3 frames per second doing that. Let's boost up the time. So it'll just be rinse and repeat from this process to take the animation that we had in the 2D version inside of Toon Boom and just kind of like just move this phone around and be able to animate it. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the final phone model. I'll have to scour to see where I put it. It's possible I put it as a different file name than I was looking for. Because I was looking up like phone and some other keywords, but it's possible I called it something else. So I'll have to look into it. I think there's not much I can probably actually do at this point. So enjoy this while we can. Yeah, so finish this up would be to render this out, you know, do compositing, just rendering, I don't know what this is. You know, file export as a PNG sequence. I think there's, I'm always confused with these Blender menus. What's where? Yeah, so I would change temp into a folder, export it as a PNG sequence with some good color depth, and then I would go into Premiere and take my Toon Boom animation of shots 1, 2, and 4, and I would make them into film strips sort of thing, of like where you can like cut up the footage that I have, and so I can like splice it between shots 2 and 4 and then put in shot 3 here. Now it's going to be rendered with the 2D with the 3D render, so it'll fit, just it'll work seamlessly as it'll cut directly into here, and because of the rendering engine that I have, it should look just about the same. If I use something else like a different render engine, I don't even know where I'd be able to find that. Yeah, if I change this to like a different yeah, get a new world, get different strength, and then get some different mispaths and different viewport displays and stuff. It'll look a little bit different. So, and if I go into like cycles, that'll be completely different. Which isn't too bad because I don't think we have too many lights, but you see how it's kind of a little bit noisy. If I zoom in, that's just how cycles renders. But with some of the transparency objects, I would need more passes for it to like figure out the little speckles and say like what is the actual information of this area here. You would need to do another pass to be like, oh, that's too many sprinkles, let's kind of vacuum those up and say like, oh, let's kind of smooth that out. If I had more complicated lighting, then might be better to use cycles, but then I had to do more passes to get the lighting to look better. So I usually just use Eevee because it's exactly what I want, and it's super fast and super cheap to just go one pass, and it's exactly the color style that I like, of being perfectly flat, no color, full bright, no extra information of highlights or shadows. So it's just like what you see, what you get is perfect, and it looks the same style and quality as my 2D art. So there's no like zip doesn't look any other colored than, you know, than how it was rendered out as inside of Toon Boom. So, and that's how it's going to render out. So I don't have to do any color correction or anything like that. So super easy. Just like export and then boop, and then place it in with the rest of the footage that I have, and I'll export the Toon Boom animation and then put them all together and get a movie. Yeah, let me get, I think I'll go to toaster time now, and I'll get some water. Thank you so much, guys. If you have to leave now, I understand, but I think I'll stick around for another 20 or so minutes. So if you have questions like Felicity, I'll answer them more in depth, as I won't be fiddling around with technical stuff. So, so yeah, if you're free to go if you like. With the content is over, but if you'd like to stick around, by all means, if you have any other questions, then yeah, that'll be it's time for now. So, streams every Saturday. We'll have a new stream, new content next week. We'll be doing something completely different. So I'll try and finish this up. I'll workshop some problems that I've been seeing here, but most of the slowdown is probably just from my computer not able to process literally all the different stuff that I got open right now. So it's usually like 50% faster. I've had some times where it is pretty slow, so even with everything else closed. So like just my computer itself is not, it's pretty beefy, but it's not like mega beefy, if that makes sense. So it's able to handle a lot of stuff at the same time, but probably not as well. Like I have a lot of RAM, but probably not a lot of GPU. So it's able to do like 20 different processes, but of those processes, how well does it do each one? So it's kind of a thing. Anyway. All right. Thank you, Dakota. See you next time. Thank you. All right. What do we got? Yoshi close blender. That'll help. Okay, cool. Like 3D looks cool. Thank you. Wait, how much? This 2D on 3D. Yep. I can That's okay. Honestly, I can't really have to squint to see what kind of picture you got there, Felicity. But yeah. I think I was partly inspired by Minty Roots, like Minty's first couple animations with the Derpy animations, Thundercloud and other whatnots. That really got me into like, ooh, like opened the possibility that it's like, ooh, I could just, if I wanted to, make a movie that has 2D characters in a 3D environment. That inspired me with the 2017 movie, inspired me to really like actually pursue it. It's like, okay, the pony's actually doing this with 3D backgrounds. It's like, yeah, let's do this. So then I started to workshop and figure out the process of how to get that going. So I started with After Effects, and that was not good. So I eventually moved to Blender, but then I didn't have the lighting engine that it showed off, so I had to like code that in basically, and then get the full bright mode, and then work from there. So it was a process. But if you have to go, then thank you, Felicity. See you later then. And everyone else, let's see. If anyone else has any other topics like me to talk about, that'd be a great time. Otherwise, let's see. I feel short. Let me see if I can bump myself up a little bit. See what I can do to make myself. Can I make myself a little taller? Let's go into Character Animator. I have to squeeze myself just a little bit. I have to be squeeze. There we go. Oh, if it was that easy. All right. I had to rework my entire character to add a leaf on my head. Yeah. This is frustrating as that sounds. We're using Character Animator. there's some parts that it remembers, but if you change some like really minute stuff in the Photoshop file, where it's being set up, then it ripples effects into like a whole bunch of other stuff that breaks. So basically, every time that I add a new hat, I have to like remake my body into it, and cycles, it's like cycle layers break, and like other keyboard shortcuts break. So it's a bit of a process to like actually add hats. So yeah, I had to like move my entire body and like readjust a lot of my stuff to make it work. Not everything was destroyed though, so it's just like a couple things. But by doing it and like remaking it, I was able to add a little bit more flow into the hair. So that's nice. My shoulder neck hair has a little bit more drag onto it, has more physics, so I'm happy with that. Yo, yeah, Judd. Yeah. Let's see. You have any talking points? Or not? Okay. Let's see. I think after this, I'll take a little break, kind of decompress, and have some, maybe a bigger lunch than I had, and try and play some Splatoon later. I'll play in the Splatfest. I think I chose Team Grub. Seems like a lot of people are doing that. Either that or Gear. Yeah. But I've been having fun. I've played again like almost to the end of the story mode. At least I think it is. I haven't finished the. It looks like the second to last section. The one right before you go into the middle island. So I'm doing pretty good. There were a couple ones that I definitely almost rage quitted out of. There was like the one in sector 1 where there's like a grind on rails, like the first grind on rails almost said episode level. It recommended to like it said like try this. And I said like, oh okay, that recommends me to use the slosher. And it's like it was horrible. So I was like, I can't do this. I spent like 20 minutes trying to do it. And then came back a day later. So after all that, and then was like, okay, let's try the other one, and I beat it in 2 turns. And it's like, oh, why did it? So now I'm thinking that try this message when you select the weapons and get the loadout. I think that means that it might actually be more tricky. So I was like, maybe you should try this if you beat it on the easier weapony ones. So, yeah. Whoops. So, I also got stuck on, there's one pretty late into the whole story mode where it's like a Pac-Man maze where you gotta like get 60 or so power eggs, and there's like 3 different slosher guys, slosher robots, octolings, and that took me like a while. Like that took me like 2 days worth of not only routing it, but like getting like a good enough RNG that's like I got to like figure out where the pattern is and like knowing where everything is. That just took forever because there were so many attempts where it's like I was missing one at the end. There's a time limit, so you'll get like a minute or so to like get like 60 eggs, little dots, in a Pac-Man phase. It seemed like they were trying to give me clues as like you can throw little guy at the sloshers, and it's sort of hit and miss. Like it didn't really seem to work sometimes, or maybe it seemed okay. Yeah, I tried the paintbrush one first as a weapon, and that gave me little guy, small fry. But then I tried to use a different weapon, but it seemed to not. It gave me curling bombs instead, which are actually way better in that particular mode, whereas like you can try and throw a curling bomb like straight down an alley and then go all the way down a hallway like super fast. That worked out better in some cases than using small fire to try to distract the paint guys, the enemies. So I got there. I think I'm about 3/4 done with the second to last sector. So, it's weird because it doesn't really feel like it's getting harder. It's just like one or two of them are just like ridiculously more harder than the others. It's like I would spend like, you know, that whole day trying to figure out like the maze one, and then go to the next level and I beat it in 5 minutes and be like, oh, okay. You would think like with Mario, kind of like gradual level scale, you know, like if you go to World 7 and 8 in Mario World, and those kind of games where it's like, oh, each level is about the same amount of difficulty, you know, is like consistently the same. But with Splatoon, it's like you get one or two that's like way more difficult than the others, and it's like, oh, jeez. So, yeah, I'm excited to. I didn't play last night, so I'm probably more rusty now. So I'll probably train again and story, and then jumped in. So, yeah, doing that sometime. So, yep. And otherwise, work has been, it's been slow at work, but they've been giving me time off. Like I'm doing like half days this week. I think I had like 2 or 3 half days, and which again is like not super helpful because then I have less time to work on the stuff. Even if, you know, like I could get an invoice and be like, oh, you have 2 invoices to do, but then if one invoice is literally 200 trophies, then it's like, oh, okay, like the amount of time it would take to like make that invoice would be nice to have a whole bunch of time to, you know, work on it. So like I have to like be more strategic of like what I work on, because I only have like 4 hours, so it's like I have to prioritize things now rather than having 8 hours to like go be a bit more open about stuff and be like, oh, maybe I can do this after lunch, or maybe like during lunch I'll have this run during, you know, I can have it laser or engraved while I'm eating, you know. But now that I don't have lunch at work some days, it's like, okay, that means I can't have that extra time to have things happen. So it's like, So hopefully next week I'll have a lot more stuff to, I have a lot of stuff I haven't worked on, intended to yet, so I have a lot to, do that now. So it'll be nice to have some more time, next week to, you know, work on it. So we'll see. And I guess like, you know, September, everything's kind of starting over. There's not too many tournament championships happening right now, especially school started and everything's getting refreshed and restarted, new cycles and stuff. So all the tournaments and stuff already happened over the summer and spring. So yeah, our jobs and like all our stuff that we do is very timely. We don't really have we have to kind of go with the calendar, you know. It's not like we just have a whole bunch of stuff to like do every day, you know. It's kind of dependent on what time of year it is. So if there's really not that many holidays or many tournaments or sports things really going on, then that means we don't really have much to do, comparatively, you know. Because there was a time when we had like 10 or 15 different T-ball tournaments happening at the same time. And it's like, whoa, okay, so I have to like rush to do a whole bunch of those at the same time. Compared to now where it's like, I think there's a couple sports going on, but like not as many. So that's, yeah. Unless it's free time. I know. I don't know what to say to that. I'm really bad at free time. Or am I good at it? I don't know. I do work myself a little bit too hard, I think, personally. Especially that sometimes I'm working till like midnight on projects. Especially I was trying to really, really work hard on the animation today, to get things ready for today's stream. And I knew that I wouldn't be able to really finish it, but I was trying to work as much time as I could on it. So I feel like I'm always doing something, so free time is Is it is just in bliss ignorance or something? I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's just lunch, but that means that I'm doing something is, you know, eating. I guess I do procrastinate sometimes, where it's like, maybe I'll just wait. I do have a habit of, like, waiting to, like, more late time. Like, even, like, 7 or 8. I might, like, I'm gonna start now, and then I work till midnight. So, and that would be a pretty good block of work. So, I guess I do have a little bit of, I guess it's not really free time as much as it just me procrastinating on not working. But the movie is actually coming along really nicely. If you're, part of Patreon, plug with that. Patreon.com/Yoshi Greenwater. Pledge for as low as $1 a month to get exclusive behind-the-scenes content, such as updates to the backgrounds and models and animations and storyboards and a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes assets and updates and what I'm doing. I think my body just rejected all that. But yeah, you can see a bunch of the behind-the-scenes assets and stuff by being pledging on Patreon. But yeah, it is a real, like, you have to pay for to get the content, but it supports me and you get pledge to your favorite creators, so it's a win-win. So hopefully, you know, if you're interested, yeah, wink. I can't wink. I can blink, sort of. I'm not blinking, am I? Blink, blink. Where was I going with that? Oh, the movies are going good, so yeah. Don't feel like I'm procrastinating enough that it's like I'm not working on it. It's always always in my head. I'm always thinking about it. So, we'll get there. But yeah, now that I have like 8 hours less per day to work on it. That means that there's 8 hours less of progress each day that's possible to work on the project. So yeah, it's gonna be that time slower over time. So yeah, and I've been prioritizing the short animation I've been working on today. So that means that it's a little bit even more slower. So unfortunately for that, sorry. Needs to be programmed week. Okay. That should be relatively easy to do because I think the blinks are in one image file, so I could just like crop it out and just make it a function. Yeah, I'll think about it. Thank you, Jed. Thank you for joining. Hope this was fun. Let's see. So next week, we'll do something completely different. I need to do prepper for that. I need to set up some posts. We'll do it tomorrow. I'm thinking of doing a 6-character challenge style thing again, where I'll get ideas or entries from you guys to be like, ooh, I like cartoon X, and then I go, and then I'll do a secret thing with those ideas. So I'll make it clear once I write it out. But yeah, I'll be asking for cartoon series, and I guess specifically 2D series, so I can don't have to worry about 3D modeling. But yeah, well, that's the secret idea for next week, and then that'll also be October. So I guess moving forward after that, we'll have spooky content? Question mark. I don't have concrete ideas for those yet, but at least for next week I have something planned, so that's good. And hopefully Passport 2 will come out, and we'll eventually play that as well. So, I'm thinking of other stream ideas. Then after that, I guess we'll wait and see. Because I don't know yet. Because right now I'm just trying to super prioritize the animated short that we're working on today. You can see how much more complicated it is than it seems. Or I'm just making it more complicated. I don't know. could be way more simpler if I just, you know, while I was zooming. Anyway, that's the plan. So, let's see. Anything else? Any lingering questions? Anything else? Like to hear about me? Otherwise, I'll start to wrap it up. I guess out of everything, I'm glad that I got this water emoji. Yeah, I guess if I had to choose between water and winking, I think water is more important. You guys hydrate too. It's important. It's really good. It's water, and I add a little flavor enhancement. It's fruit punch. It's really good. Thank you. Look at my leaf. It's got a little bit of physics. I think if I split it up a little bit more, would it be a little bit more wiggly? Let's see though. Okay. I don't see anything else from you guys, unless someone's desperately typing it out right now. But yep. So plan is maybe well, if we get a Splatoon, that means I have less time to work on the animation. I'll get the animation done on my own time, I guess. I was planning on trying to get it done by Sunday, but I can see now how complicated it's going to be to wrap it up. Especially if I want audio, that's going to be its own beast that I'm glad that I didn't get onto that on that today. Because that would have been way more complex, even sometimes more complex than what I was working on today, to work on sound effects and music and all that, and syncing in yeah, effects with those. So yeah, just trying to do it. My plan is try to get it by Sunday so I can get it before Maker Mark Chapter 2. But I guess if it's hopefully about the same week as next week, then I'll still be happy. So I'm just trying to convince myself that it's okay if I'm late to my own schedule, because I really wanted to work back on, focus and prioritize on my movie again. Again, it's slightly on the back burner as I work on the short. So, but hopefully it's looking good. I guess I didn't really ask if it's really looking good. Well, I guess no one's really said it's looking bad. So, yeah. So I'll take it. I'll definitely clean up all the super rough spots, especially the last shot, which hasn't been intended to as much. But I think I'll clean up anything that I see moving forward with that. So it's only gonna get better. And of course, these animations and these content aren't really super complete as much as released. You know, like I can like render it out and say like, oh, here's my exported file. Here it is, complete. And then I watch it and it's like, oh well, that blink's not right. Can I fix it? And it's like, oh yeah, you can just go back to the animation and then render it and then export it and then set it all up and then go, watch it again. Go, yeah, that's a little better. Ooh, but what about this? So it's only really, it's not really complete as much as published, because you can export as much times as you want, but then once it's on the internet, and it's like, okay, that's pretty much it. Unless I want to like delete that one and then redo animation and then export that again, but YouTube doesn't like that. They don't like duplicate videos, so most of the times that's its own story. Don't want to get into that. Anyway, but yeah, whew. That's the plan. Jeez, it's a lot, but I'll get through it. It'll be fine. We'll do it. All right. I'm tired, so thank you guys so much. This is best as a hug I can get. I can high five myself. Beep beep. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Yep. See you guys next time. Bye bye. Bye guys.